The number of calls to fire departments across the U.S. increases every year.
Meanwhile, the number of firefighters is falling. The shortage has placed some communities at serious risk.
The U.S. firefighter shortage is our big story today. The Toledo Fire Department is set to be cutting back on staffing at a station near Point Place. Many days it will not be staffed at all.
It's raising concerns about safety and response times, and I-Team reporter Sean Hegarty takes a look at why the department is going this route. Sean?
Yeah, Tina, I was told Station 12 here on Chase near Suter Avenue has some of the lowest call volumes in this city, and the stations, this kind of region of the area, kind of the Point Place area, has some of the lowest numbers as well. That plus a new union with a new contract with the union, I should say, is bringing on these changes, according to Fire Chief Allison Armstrong. We spoke with her earlier today. She is not calling this a closing of Station 12, but she says it will not be manned 24/7 on most days and will only be manned when staffing levels hit a certain number. With the city now staffing 15 ambulances per the newest fire department contract, the chief says she needed more resources and more staffing and had to move them around, meaning no 24/7 staffing here at this station. She says the calls for service will still be answered, but that'll happen from nearby fire stations. She says adding more staff to staff rigs at other stations and not to do it here at 12 full-time just wasn't doable.
The options were limited to add 4 more people to additional staffing, which with financial constraints, personnel constraints, that's not possible at this time, or redeploy 4 people to now staff those ambulances.
Tonight on Action News at 6 o'clock, we'll tell you what the age of the building means to this whole equation and how that factored in. Tina?
All right, thanks, Sean. From there, communities in Michigan also struggling to staff fire departments. From cities to suburbs, the lack of staffing is being called a threat to public safety. According to the Michigan Professional Firefighters Union, the state is lagging far behind other states with much stronger staffing levels. Michigan has about 50 full-time firefighters per 100,000 people. That's a big difference in the firefighters working in Indiana and Ohio, which have 101 and 111 per 100,000 people. In Flint Township, one station is having to brown out, which happens when there simply aren't enough firefighters to cover a station. That means calls for the center part of the township are then diverted to 2 other stations on the north and south ends.
We're short-staffed every day, and we're rolling on scene with 1 firefighter in a fire truck and waiting for additional resources to show up. To get safer models of 3 to 4 people on there would benefit the residents for life safety, property conservation, and our firefighters' safety tremendously.
Now, officials say fewer firefighters impacts response times, leads to more injuries, and it's something many citizens out there simply aren't aware of.
A new proposal in Michigan is aimed at finding a solution to the firefighter shortage. Right now, Michigan only has about 5,000 career firefighters, which is less than half the number of firefighters in Ohio. The bill, introduced in the Michigan Senate, would allow police and firefighter unions to include minimum staffing levels as part of contract negotiations. Emergency responders say that would allow departments and unions to come together and address the staffing problem.
We know what our communities can afford, and we're going to work together with the employers to figure that out.
When we are unable to meet that minimum staffing, we default to offering overtime to our members. But the overtime at this point within our bargaining unit, it's voluntary. So there are times when we may have to run a little short because of that inability to staff.
Right now, the bill is in the House Committee on Government Operations. This is not the first attempt to allow unions to discuss staffing during negotiations. Last year, a similar bill was introduced, but not voted on before the session closed at the end of the year.
And while Ohio may have more career firefighters than Michigan, we're dealing with our own shortage of volunteer firefighters. Now, in the Buckeye State, we're experiencing what some call an alarming decline in the number of volunteer firefighters. Right now, roughly 72% of the fire departments in the state are volunteer. According to the Ohio Department of Commerce, the number of emergency calls is increasing all across Ohio, but the number of volunteer firefighters is decreasing. So to help combat this, the Ohio State Fire Marshal has launched a new way to directly connect Ohioans with available opportunities at their local firehouses. On the website, you can enter your information to select what type of work you're interested in doing and where.
We started this over 3 years ago when Governor DeWine established the task force on the volunteer fire service. We've got to have recruitment of new people into the volunteer fire service. You know, this is a critical issue for him. This is a critical issue for Ohioans.
If you're interested, we have a link to the website on 13abc.com.
Some communities in our area are taking their firefighter staffing issues to the ballot. The Allen Clay Joint Fire District is looking for additional firefighters and EMTs, hoping to have more people available 24 hours a day for both fire and emergency calls. Now, right now, the department relies on volunteers plus 2 firefighter EMTs who are on duty around the clock. The department covers 72 square miles. These days, it's harder to get volunteers to respond, so they're going to the ballot, asking voters to pass 2 levies. The first would be a replacement levy for operations, and it would charge homeowners $175 per $100,000 valuation. That's up from the current $100. An additional levy would be for an additional firefighter EMT, and that would add an extra $100 to the tax bill plus $100,000 per $100,000 valuation of your property. That would actually add 3 firefighter EMTs per shift.
When you have the bulk of our volunteers are working full-time jobs, and those jobs are very demanding of them, and then you have home-life balance and sports, and everything builds up very quickly. It's just more of planning for that future, that we want to be able to provide our best services for our community.